Hi, I'm Phil Cook, and we've had such a great response from people who are using our unique planner that I wanted to talk a little bit about how I use it because it would give you some tips. Some people have asked me some questions about the unique planner, and they've gotten it, they're using it, they're thrilled, but I wanted to just make sure you're maximizing it and show you some specific techniques for what I do with the planner. And I'll just go through and show you some key things here that I think are important. I love the fact that you could put your name in it. And by the way, I just write in there reward if found because there's so already I've been using it just for a matter of months, and there's already so much information in here, notes for projects and things that I'm willing to pay to get this back if I lose it or leave it somewhere. So I always put a note in there, reward if found, because I think that's very, very important for me. If you turn it into one of the first pages, you get one side, major year goals. I've got company name change. We're talking about possibly changing the name of our company, and that's a big deal. So I've got that in there. I've got a new book. I've listed a new book. I've got podcasts on here. These are major things I wanted to accomplish this year. And I put them there, not because I'm putting in a detailed list of how to make each one happen, but I just want to be reminded on a regular basis, what are the big picture items, big picture projects I want to accomplish this year. So often we get so caught up in doing stuff that we forget what the big things we want to do. And so I put them there. Then across the page, I've got habits to develop. I'm getting ready to fill this out because there's certain habits I want to start focusing on this year. For you, it could be any number of things. It could be become a better speaker, learn to be more positive. There's any number of things of personal habits you could develop. And again, list them. You don't have to list all the steps for making them happen, but you want a constant reminder in the front of the printer of those things that we're really working on. Then I have 2 pages of what I call big goals and then next steps. And again, it's not super detailed because we've got other things to do with our life than constantly be filling stuff out. But I'm taking these goals, launch the podcast, write the new book, company name change. We're just putting these things in to remind us what I want to focus on, and then maybe the next steps. Each one has 3 next steps that will show you what we need to be thinking about. This helps get me more into the mode of what I want to accomplish and what I'm actually doing. I've changed my thinking personally, where when I'm in a meeting now, I don't take tons of notes. I used to take just pages and pages and pages of notes that I never looked at again. What I focus on now, I still take some notes, but what I focus on more now is next steps. What are the next steps I need to do as a result of this meeting to accomplish what we need to do? So next steps are important, and that's why I put them in there. Then I get into the meat of the planner, which is the actual daily pages. Now, this is a 6-month planner, so it's good for 6 months of your schedule if you keep it every single day. And obviously, there are days that I'm traveling that I don't fill it out, or there may be a holiday that I don't fill out, or there may be a Saturday where I go to a football game instead of staying home and filling this out. So there are days when you don't have to fill it out, and it could last longer than 6 months. Who knows? It's up to you and your schedule. That's what I love about the flexibility. So here's what we've got on each page. The date, you can start it anytime you want. Fill in the date. If you skip a day or skip 2 days, you can do that. Fill in the next date. That doesn't matter. And then I've got 3 priorities. I think in a typical day, there are 3 main things you need to do that day. Now, it may be less. You may be in total focus book writing mode or total design mode, and you have one big thing you want to do that day. But I'm giving you 3 options you can do. Then I've got a short personal list with 4 or 5 things here because as professionals, we often forget we have personal lives. Most of the people getting this planner are really driven professionals. And so we often forget that we've got to go pick up that prescription or that birthday card for my wife, or I've got to go run this errand, go to the grocery store, whatever. So I wanted to put in a personal thing because I want to remember I've got call the contractor, get the get well card. I put that on my list because those were the things I needed to do on that day. And then I've got other tasks. So there may be small things you need to do more than the 3 priorities. These are the big priorities, the 3 big things. And then I've got some space where you can put other tasks, other phone calls, things you need to do that day if you want to write them down. Then I've got a column called Key Calendar Events. Now, here's the thing. 90% of us, maybe 99% or more, have shared calendars. We're using Google Calendar. We're using iCal. we're using Outlook, whatever your preference is, we have shared calendars. And with the case of our team at our company, we're all in the same shared calendar system. So I don't need to waste pages on a full detailed calendar. And so many of these planners just waste enormous space on calendars. But every day I've got a little column for key calendar events. Now, it may be it may be a football game you want to go to. It may be dinner with your daughter, dinner with your wife. It may be I was a guest on the Neil Smith podcast on this one day. And I want to put that down because I don't want to forget it. Sure, it's on my computer calendar, but I'm looking at this notebook at various times during the day, and I want to make sure I don't forget those. So just key calendar events. Doesn't have to be everything on your calendar, but I've got the space for the things you do not want to forget. Then on this side of the page, it's blank. It's a dot grid, so you can draw if you want to. Here, we were playing around with a website design, and so I drew that on there, and these were site notes. So you could draw if you want a list. Let me find, there's a good list. I've got a product development cycle that we were working through with one organization I put on there, and then I've got a target that we're trying to hit with different phases of that cycle. So I can draw to my heart's content, or I can just put other notes on there, different client notes. All these things are very, very important. I had a meeting the other day and I wrote down a bunch of notes from that. So what I wanted to do was list the things that matter and then give you the space over here to do whatever you want to do. Some people like to draw, some people like to doodle, some people like to put written notes, whatever it is, that's what I wanted to do. Then, and that goes through the whole book. There's not, I found no books that had weekend stuff to fill out, my daily affirmation, or what I want to eat this weekend or what I'm doing to renew myself. I don't need all that stuff. I just want to accomplish stuff, and that's why I put that in. And then you go through to the very back, and what's interesting about the back is we created an index, a daily index back here. So, which means if there's something critical on a certain page, you can write it down and go back and find those notes later. Nothing worse than having a print notebook that you can't find what you wrote down. And so we put those in there because I think having those notes are really important. Then the very last thing that I put in here is a pocket. You know what? There's all kind of sticky notes. There's tickets. There's reminders. There's things that you get that you just need to stick in a pocket. That we have the space for that. And we have the elastic band that's like a little moleskin to help you keep everything shut. What we discovered is it's thick enough. One of the biggest planners I saw out there was a quarterly planner, which means you have to buy 4 a year. That seems a little excessive price-wise. And then others are too small, so you can't get a whole lot in them. A few were really big. I wanted something that would fit in a briefcase, a purse, a man bag, whatever you carry, whatever turns you on. I want you to be able to have this when you need it to make notes or keep your day on track. So that's just a quick overview, and I think you'll come up with unique ways to play with it, and it gives you that kind of flexibility. So the bottom line is I've switched to print for my day focus, which means I've still got my calendar, my online calendar. I've got my online to-do list, but as I've said in other episodes, my online to-do list became an idea vault. It became a dumping ground for creative ideas that pop into my head, which is great to have them. But when I open that every day and look at it, I just get overwhelmed. This allows me to look at that list, pull the 2, 3, 4 things I have to do that day, put it in here. I really start to focus. And coupled with the key calendar events that I do not want to forget, that's made a big difference for me. So, I've been through the whole productivity phase. I think that's important. There's more to life than just being productive. I think it was Mahatma Gandhi said that there's more to life than just increasing its speed. We don't have to live our lives just cranking stuff out. We need time to pause and reflect, and this helps you do it. I think when you get your planner, it will really help you stop, think about what's important, help you accomplish that, and then it has space where you can actually reflect on what you want to do in the future and where you want your life to go. It's not just about accomplishment, it's about significance. It's about being satisfied with where you're going in your career and your calling. The Unique Creative Planner. You can find it at uniquecreativeplanner.com, and we'd love for you to try it out, and I think it would really have an impact on your future and your career.